What's your UX design process? I'm sure you've heard this question, and when it comes to UX design, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeking this perfect process, a one-size-fits-all approach that guarantees optimal results. The truth, though, is far more nuanced. The most effective UX process varies widely, and it depends on a number of factors, things like your project scope, its goals, users' needs, timelines, available resources, and the context in which the design is situated. Above all these things, the most critical factor is the willingness of the business and stakeholders to collaborate for a project success. So in this episode, we won't provide a cookie-cutter UX process. Instead, I'd like to explore 4 pillars that can transform your design process. This is akin to the famous Chef Rocco's cooking philosophy, where he emphasizes the art of balancing certain kind of tastes. He emphasizes that we should be kind of evaluating the sweetness, sourness, saltiness, and bitterness. And he encourages you to trust your own taste buds over recipes. His approach sparks culinary creativity. He invites experimentation, exploration, and he wants you to find your unique cooking style. Well, I hope this inspires you to kind of tailor your UX process to each new project's challenge. So stay tuned. My name is Ken, and you're watching Mastering UX. A new startup company creating a minimum viable product may require a fast-moving UX approach. And this can be sort of in contrast to a company that's well-established. They're overhauling a legacy platform, say it was created in 2007. So again, don't chase the perfect process, but embrace the fluidity and flexibility of UX design. The ultimate goal is just to create products that meet users' needs and provide delightful experiences. And they demand this sort of recipe of different kind of flexible things that will be needed in the process to arrive at this state. The UX methodologies that I'm going to bring up, they're about as diverse as the users and the project dynamics themselves. Now let's unveil 4 transformative pillars of your design process. So the first one is prove success. The second one is co-create effectively. The third is delight users. And the fourth is solution sustainably. So I'm going to go ahead and explain what these are. And I'd also like to run through these 4 pillars again and give you some examples of methodologies that can be applied in these 4 categories. And then, of course, it's up to you to be thinking about these 4 pillars the next time you're designing your own UX process. So on the matter of proving success, you want to decide on an objective metrics to record before and after the project to demonstrate your success. And this means that you must understand the business goals, that you're aligned with the business definition of success so that you can demonstrate that your UX product solution is a success. Co-create effectively. Well, co-creation fosters true collaboration. It should be where we empower businesses and stakeholders and project teams to contribute directly to the project, going beyond this mere kind of client-vendor relationship. The key word here is effectively. So even if there is co-creation, there is a lot of collaboration, it's all futile unless there's productive outcomes. So we want to be fostering this atmosphere, and this may require for you to slowly win trust by showing your UX processes are delivering compelling insights and that your design solutions are really effective. The next one is delight users. So delighting users goes beyond intuitive user experiences. It's about making tasks more effective and surprisingly simple, all with a personal touch that fosters this kind of brand advocacy. This means that our process must discover users, learn and accommodate their wants and needs, and there must be some kind of validation that they can use our products in a frictionless way. And the next one is solution sustainably. An impressive UI is great, but we need to dive deeper. Is the design solution future-proof? Is it scalable for future growth? Is it technically feasible? I know a lot of times we're thinking this about a software project. Do they generate technical debt? But have you considered this for your design? Are you creating a situation where there would be technical debt or design debt? Is your design on brand or compatible with the design system? Should you create a design system for this product because you realize it's so robust and there's a need to enforce consistency? So I'll be honest, I rarely hit all four of these pillars with flying colors. But what I can say is the more pillars I can check off, the more I have confidence that my UX process worked. When a UX project went well, I had the sensation that the users, the business, the project team, myself were all in harmony. We all know the goals, we all know the users, we know how the users feel about the solution, and I had this kind of confidence that the solution is definitely sustainable. So let me break these methodologies down. So in the matter of by proving success, this is where you could measure success by getting stakeholder interviews together. You can put together workshops and you can identify key performance indicators such as conversion rates, page views, or reduced abandonment rates. You can have surveys. You can have a net promoter score. Success is proven with a measurable before and after. So if you say could show a 23% improvement in your conversion rate, you know you've aced the first pillar. Okay, so remember, objective metrics are not meaningful, or they may not be meaningful unless you test both the before and the after. Co-create effectively. This is where you could have more stakeholder interviews, you can have workshops, you can build alignment, but also remember that maturity can happen when the business kind of views themselves as this partner. They're engaging in constant feedback of shared inspiration. I prefer it when clients would want to email me frequently and there's this kind of, frequent turnarounds of kind of revisions that are going on with the design. So this might be challenging to achieve quickly, but it's a worthy goal. So I have a whole video on this. It's called Mindset Shifts for Effective Design Thinking. Sometimes you have a business that's ready to adopt progressive mindsets, and sometimes it takes literally years for maturity to set in. Delighting users. So to delight users, you need to understand them, perhaps through a persona workshop. You can validate desirability or new features with concept testing, and you can gauge the intuitiveness with higher fidelity prototypes and usability testing. So if you have, say, a navigation that there's a lot of business risks that's resting on this navigation, then you might want to do a card sorting or a tree testing. And remember that delight is all about task effectiveness, surprising simplicity, and creating personal touches that foster brand advocacy. Solutions sustainably. So if you want to ensure that designs are future-proof, scalable, technically feasible, they're not prone to technical debt, then this requires a lot of walkthroughs with people. Could involve some, more formalized meeting, but it could also involve smaller meetings where there's all these kind of feedback loops and people can really think about things. You develop an atmosphere where people actually take your designs back and they discuss with their teams and kind of consider, is this something that we need to kind of plan other things with, or that maybe we need to ask for some kind of revisions. And we need to be open to these kind of revisions that our designs need to undergo. You also might have branding departments, or you might have design system stewards. And there's also these projects that are adjacent to your project, and you want to be consistent with those projects. So be respectful that your project lives in an ecosystem. It's an ecosystem both internally and externally. So let me walk you through a UX methodology journey that's going to be completely revamping this multi-million-dollar insurance management system. I know I'm going to run you through a pretty complex process. I know it might seem daunting, but remember, you can scale this to be a very simple, lightweight UX journey. I have no problem with this. The point is to realize that there are these different steps that could be contributing to the 4 pillars. So I won't explain these methodologies as we don't have time, but I just want you to not be intimidated and just focus on the methodologies working towards the 4 pillars that I've just outlined for you. So the first thing that you might do is set up stakeholder interviews for vetting out your goals or confirming the goals or validating the goals. This is towards proving success and co-creating effectively. In the same vein, you might want to have a net promoter score that you might want to reconduct, and you're going to have to collaborate with the business. You might have analyzing the analytics, and this might also require some cooperation from your business. Again, this is going to be for your proving a success. And then you're going to want to set goals for your NPS and other objective metrics. What do you feel like you could get to? Again, these are conversations, and you're going to be bringing this kind of collaborative kind of foresight into what kind of goals do we want to set. And then you might have a persona workshop, and this is going to be towards delighting users and co-creating effectively. Then you might have subject matter expert interviews. These are the ones that can particularly empathize with the personas that you've outlined. This is going to be towards delighting users, co-creating effectively, and solutioning sustainably. And then you can have a persona feedback session, and this is going to be towards, again, delighting users and co-creating effectively. And then this is where you can start doing some low fidelity wireframe and do some concept testing. And this is towards delighting users, focusing in on, are my features desirable? Is this intuitive? Is this something that they're seeking? Is this something that makes sense? And this is going to be towards co-creating effectively, because your business partners are going to be involved in the testing. They're going to be with you, and they're going to be observing the very things that you're observing. And then you're going to present concept testing, insights, and recommendations. This is going to be towards delighting users, but this kind of share out, it's going to be this kind of feedback session to enable this co-creating effectively and solutioning sustainably. Some kind of problems with the design might come up in that meeting. Then you can have a design thinking workshop. This is, again, towards delighting users and co-creating effectively. You might have some high fidelity prototype usability tests. And during this phase, I would say there's going to be a lot of rounds of feedback. You have feedback with the technical groups, with your team, with the stakeholder, with SMEs. And all of this is going to be towards delighting users, co-creating effectively as you're working on high fidelity prototypes. You really should, remember that all these visuals can be sort of this way for you to communicate. We have the gift of having a picture that's worth more than 1,000 words. And when people can see that solution in a picture, that enables them to think through technical problems, think through whether we're being consistent with other kind of creative teams or whether we're on brand. All these visuals can be very useful. So there should be a lot of checkpoints. Again, all this works towards solutioning sustainably. And then eventually we might want to present usability testing, insights, and recommendations. And this is, again, towards delighting users, co-creating effectively, and solutioning sustainably. And then the website launches. And then what you're going to want to do is the objective metrics that you did at the beginning of the project, you're going to want to kind of do another reevaluation, do another net promoter score survey. Prove the success, analyze the metrics, and which is going towards proving the success. And then you can make recommendations for this kind of phase 2. So I will say that solutioning sustainability is something that really can be done, especially when you start to get together these higher fidelity prototypes. A lot of small meetings, a lot of informal communication, a lot of kind of sessions where you're rolling up your sleeves. And I would call them working sessions. So in wrapping up, it's important to note that hitting all 4 pillars perfectly in any project is rare. I see these pillars as more of sort of guiding aspirations, and they serve as a compass to help you create, refine, and optimize your own design process on a project-by-project basis. So remember, you're not alone in this journey. You're going to be working as a collaborative effort with your product owners, product teams, stakeholders, subject matter experts, and with other UX team leads that are on the adjacent projects. It's about fostering a culture of collaboration where everyone is committed to problem solving beyond their immediate scope of work. So if you found this video interesting or informative, please be sure to like this video and comment below. You can also subscribe to this channel. I would say I produce content that's very similar to this about every 2 weeks. And if you like this video again, it really helps the algorithm if you would like it. Anyways, I'll see you on the next episode. My name is Ken and you're watching Mastering UX.